Hope you're having a lovely little day. It is Thursday, August 1st. A new month has begun. And with that being said, the New York Times has put out an article on Jeffrey Epstein that we're probably going to go over later today. Probably going to be one of the first videos I get to before I dig into the recently obtained Ghislaine Maxwell versus Virginia Roberts Guthrie document. So that's also coming today. So let's talk about this Open Cog article really quickly. Epstein had money in almost everything. And thank you to my listeners, my watchers, who are actually telling me about the Open Cog connection to Epstein. I want to say over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, was the first time I saw that in the comment section. So I've also talked about the report that Zuckerberg was introduced to Epstein via Elon Musk. Now, why is Elon Musk important in this situation? Well, Elon Musk is a complete transhumanist, 100% unapologetic about it. Although he has warned about the dangers of artificial intelligence, and believe me, Epstein is heavily invested in that as well, he wants to put brain implants in you. And by wants to, he's doing it. You can sign up today. If you're brave enough, if you want to be a part of this brave new world, you can have 4 holes put into your skull and a Bluetooth device attached to your brain. The very beginning of transhumanism for transhumanism. What do I mean? Well, cochlear implants or hearing aids are a type of brain aid device, right? But that, to me, is technology that is empowering humanity. Okay, when you look at a cochlear implant and you're letting people hear, and they've gotten so much better over the past 5, 10, 15 years, because it's been around a while, I'd say that's helping. I'd also talk about artificial limbs and the amazing things that have been done there, also helping. And a lot of this stuff are projects from DARPA, from military-industrial complex companies. However, now we're starting to see the commercialization of all this. What do I mean? Well, we're starting to see, designer chips. We've had little RFID chips that really almost for the last 20 years you've been able to get. Chipping your dog, you can get one online for like $15. And all it is an RFID signal. So you can easily program it to interact with different things. And again, I am extremely wary of putting a device in my body when you can get the same exact effect by putting it on a ring or an earring or a bracelet or a number of other things out there that don't have to be surgically implemented. When we're talking about changing our biological bodies, only because, we want some tech, or we're being promised the Singularity is coming, or the Fountain of Youth, etc., etc., I think we're playing with fire. So, when we talk about the Singularity, for those that are not familiar with it, this article talks about, Epstein pretty much wanting to seed his DNA throughout the world afterwards. We're gonna go deep on the article later today. But when you look at the transhumanism movement and the idea that somehow we're going to be able to shed our physical bodies and our consciousness is going to be uploaded to some kind of computer, it's fucking bullshit. Let me repeat that. I'm not going to try to get too religious or philosophical here, but just because you clone a hard drive, per se, and the information is on another hard drive, that physical hard drive that you clone that you no longer need is gone. And here's the thing. Science has never, ever, ever been able to replicate nor create consciousness. They can't do it. They haven't been able to. No one really knows what consciousness is. We could talk about my dog here and what level of consciousness she has, or, the level of consciousness that we as human beings have. But I really do think it is unique to our species on so many levels, okay? So when a guy like Kurzweil tells you that you're going to be able to upload your thoughts and your memories And not only that, but you're going to be able to take a form that's not human. You're going to travel the stars as a being of light if you so wish. I think that's all hornswoggle. I think it's nonsense. Even if you were able to somehow replicate your memories, your feelings, the type of actions you take, you're nothing more than a cheap clone of a human being at the end of the day, in my eyes. And what you're doing is you're creating a non-biological entity that, in my opinion, does not have the level of consciousness and the possibility of a soul that we have. And again, I'm not trying to, tell you what to believe or how to act, but think about it logically, right? Now, life extension technology, that's a little bit different. If you're able to keep your human body, your brain, your organs, etc., and through some type of either nanotech, etc., out there, we're able to regenerate ourselves and stay in this body, that's problematic in itself. That's a lot different. But when we're talking about literally shedding everything we have, and before that, combining ourselves with the type of technology that's now being pushed, it's not science fiction, it's science fact. And I'm telling you right now, these devices that Musk and others are pushing, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. I mean, get ready for a Matrix-style USB port. Obviously, it won't be USB. It'll be some other type of interaction in your fucking skull. Why would you want that? Seriously. Why? At what point are you no longer a human being? And we could talk about cybernetics and cyborgs all day. But again, at what point is your consciousness, your soul, no longer yours? Okay? And I know, people biblically want to talk about the mark of the beast and the mark of man, and those without the mark were unable to buy, sell, or trade without it. And I did an entire video on the transhumanist movement out in Sweden and how they have essentially become a cashless society, very much moving in that direction. Now, right now you can still pay. You want to go this way, baby? We can go this way. That's fine. We can go this way. You can pay for things with your credit card, your phone, etc., digital interaction. But the new cool way to pay for things is the chip in your hand. Now, in a completely westernized first world country where that's being promoted, it's problematic to me. By the way, 5760 watching, 12 thumbs up, thumbs this up, guys. How else are we going to get this information out there? I realize it's just a little walk and talk, but we're trying to spread the info. So, again, Epstein had his hands in everything. He had his hands in transhumanism. We're going to go over OpenCog, some of the other networks out there. And really, we've only scratched the surface of those investments. As I've stated before, more and more is going to continue to be revealed. This trial is not even going to take place. Hi, how you doing? Couple kids. This trial is going to take place at the earliest June of next year, and then the lawyers are asking September of next year, about 13 months away. That's the defense lawyers. I don't even know if it's going to go to trial by then. They're talking about 1 million pages of documents. Okay? 1 million pages of documents. That's not science fiction. Okay? There's not going to be any way that a massive team is going to be able to go through that. Can you imagine the amount of lawyers that it's going to take to go through all those legal documents? 1 million pages. And guys, as this goes on, there's only going to be more filings, more evidence found. We're talking about one estate here, the New York mansion, one set of crimes, 2002 to 2005. If you watched my videos yesterday, you saw that there are open investigations into other individuals because of this case. It's not stopping. It's overwhelming a lot of the elites. And it's even overwhelming people like myself that are trying to do research on this. That's why you guys out there are so damn important. For instance, it was widely reported, Daily Mail put it out there, that they had just released the different video depositions of a bunch of the victims, and we went over some of those. But those depositions were fully available for people who had the resources, as if you look at the Miami Herald's, I think it was December documentary that they put out about this, about 8 months ago when this really started to pick up steam, they had that included. So there's a lot of disinfo out there. Now, on the Virginia Guthrie Roberts case versus Ghislaine Maxwell, who still has not been criminally charged, and as far as I can tell, is not one of the 3 employees named in the original indictment in this New York charge from the beginning of July, when will she be charged? If she's not one of those 3, let's say it is Nadia Marcinkova, or Natalia Malashev, or Leslie Groff, or Sarah Kellen. You know, those are all people that helped Epstein in this operation groom children, arranged travel for these children, and let's call them children because they were, and never had any criminal charges put against them. In fact, many of them were given separate identities back in 2009, 2010, when the non-prosecution deal, which gave immunity to unnamed people for unnamed crimes, obviously these people, they'd already reworked some of their identities all the way back then. So hopefully this thing is going to continue to grow, continue to blow up. We're going to get even more information. I got a little pushback yesterday from one of the articles that I did read, and I want to clarify that. So the Daily Mail was reporting on a message, a voice message apparently, between supposedly Jean-Luc Brunel and Jeffrey Epstein, where he had some coded message of 2 by 8 people for Russian lessons. Young girls, not blonde, okay? Now, Bradley Edwards, who sued Epstein and won last year, I believe it was either in November or December of last year, and he won because as soon, and this was a defamation case that had, a 10-year life cycle. At first it was Epstein suing him and trying to get him disbarred. It was a countersuit about a year later that went on for almost 9 years before it went to trial. And once it finally got to that jury selection, Epstein paid some money, undisclosed amount, wrote a statement basically saying Edwards had done his job right, and that case has been foregone. And they were standing outside after that, if you watch the press conference, with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of documents then. Piles of documents, boxes of documents to let people know that these guys are putting in the work. Now, he said in that lawsuit, he stated that, it was suspect and it was the possibility of 2 8-year-old girls going to Epstein. Now, a lot of people have said, no, he wasn't into that. It's really 2 by 8 means a 16-year-old girl. Let me start to remind some people of some things. We don't know how far the rabbit hole goes. We don't know how deep this goes, but for the first time ever, one of the lead private investigators for Bradley Edwards did Anderson Cooper's show. And so far, it's the only interview I've been able to see. We only saw a little bit of it. And there was a point where he talked about either a 12, 13, or 14-year-old girl. I'm not sure. She could have been 12. She could have been 13. I don't want to misspeak. But when he talked about her, he said, but she looked like she was 9. Let me repeat that. But she looked like she was 9. If he was having sexual relations with girls that looked like they were 9, is it a stretch that he would sexually abuse 8-year-olds? I don't know. I don't know that that's a stretch. He's not carding. And again, if you read some of these depositions from the testimony of many of these abused young girls, you'll start to realize that he was saying things like, the younger, the better. Let me repeat that. The younger, the better. So I don't know whether that particular message was coded words to traffic 2 8-year-old girls, but we do know of the messages of 2 12-year-old French girls, or 3 12-year-old French girls, who were supposedly flown in for Epstein and then flown out that same night from France, who did not speak English. I mean, if you're going for 3 12-year-olds, is 2 8-year-olds really out of the realm of possibility? And when I did that report, I put all that stuff out there, but I wanted to clarify. So guys, with that being said, we're going to do something big a little later on this latest New York Times article about transhumanism with Epstein. That's coming up in just a bit. We're going to deep dive into those Guthrie Roberts and versus Ghislaine Maxwell documents today that nobody seems to have. So make sure to stop back. And like I said, man, we're doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a day. Did a live stream after the debates last night with Robbie Martin of MediaRoots.org if you want a little something different other than the Epstein case. Although, again, we're covering all sorts of subjects here, not just the Epstein case. So make sure to subscribe, become a member of the Burmese Brigade. We are surpassing 27K on the way to 30K. When we hit 30K, there's so much more we can do. And I want to thank everybody who has financially supported me through the GoFundMe. It's almost, I think today's the halfway point of the month. It's day 15, and we're almost at 2,500, which would be half of the goal. So I want to thank everybody who's donated to that. I want to thank all the watchers, listeners. I want to give a special shout out to Erica, who has gotten this Pacer account and gotten me a lot of these documents that nobody else has. So what are you doing? Man, she keeps trying to walk into the street. I don't know if it's old age or what. She's going the wrong way. Scares me. That being said, guys, I'm going to finish up my walk with my dog, and I will see you all on the flip side.